Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about Mac OS X, which is the Macintosh operating system version 10. Why did they choose an X? Well, very simple. It's Unix based, uses a Mach kernel, which was developed in the 80s at Carnegie Mellon. It's got the Darwin open source GUI OS helper. It's got HFS Plus journaling filing system, and it was designed in 1989 and further refined until eventually becoming an Apple product in 2000 with Beta. The first 6 versions were kind of few and far between, every year or two, 2.5 years maybe. And then the next 6 were delivered digitally every year via the new Mac App Store. Mac OS X is the second most popular OS on the planet behind Microsoft's Windows, and is fully capable of handling many Unix and Linux commands due to their shared code base. Also, because iOS, the iPhone operating system that has spread to iPod Touches, iPads, and now to the Apple TV and Apple Watch, anyone who can code for Mac OS X can code for any of these other devices, as Mac OS X is the underpinnings of iOS. I hope you'll enjoy this video, and I cannot wait to edit it. So, here we go. I'm going to be reminding you constantly over the course of this video that if you ever use the Windows key, the Windows logo key on a Windows keyboard inside of Mac OS X, it will be substituted as the Apple or Command key. The Command key is used in place of Control, the CTRL or Control key, for a lot of your built-in things in the OS, such as cut, copy, paste, select all, print, etc., keyboard shortcuts. And I'll be constantly reminding you that. So, we could go deep down into the code of Mac OS X, but quite frankly, we're never going to do that. What you need to know is, how do I use the OS, the GUI layer, the user interface? Well, here it is right here. The user interface of Mac OS X is called Aqua. It was designed to look so good, you'd want to lick it. Looks like candy. It's supposed to be vibrant and sweet looking. It has 3 main areas. At the top, you have this thing called the title bar. Here you'll see QuickTime Player. It's because I'm using it to screen record and record my voice audio. In the middle here, you have, well, right now the desktop, but here is the app windowing area. This is where all of your windows will show up. Various sizes, shapes, whatever. Most of them rectangles, but there may be a few apps that you may run into that aren't fully rectangular. Excuse me. And at the bottom here, you'll notice what looks like a quick app launcher in Linux. It's called the dock in OS X. So let's start from the very top. The Apple key, the Apple button, or the Apple logo. In here you have a couple of system-based commands. You have About This Mac, which will show you what Mac it is, what year it was made. So this is a MacBook Pro 13-inch, made mid-2012, so summer 2012. It has a 2.5 gigahertz Intel Core processor, 8 gigs RAM, and serial number, as well as a bunch of, interfaces that tell you about the device. And there you are, Beach Ball. I was wondering. I don't really open this very much, so it's probably loading a cache. It can show you various things. I have Boot Camp on here, so I can load Windows when I want to play Windows computer games. Memory that's installed, any support resources, servicing. This is mainly the scene you want to look at here. It tells you what version of the OS you're using, and then if you want to see a system report or check software update, you can. Otherwise, useless. You can also hit Alt to get different choices inside of the menus. Here's System Preferences in App Store. So if you have a hard time looking for System Preferences, it's always in the Apple logo right here. Here's Recent Items. You can force quit an application, which is pretty much like the services and Activity Monitor on Windows. Here you can tell applications to force quit or relaunch. You can never force quit the Finder because it is the filing system. Sleep, restart, shutdown, log out. Pretty much simple. Right here is going to be the application name. So it'll be app-centric. So right here is the Finder, which is the file viewer or file browser for macOS 10. Here you can learn about the Finder. The Macintosh Desktop Experience, Finder 10.11.4. Every single app is going to have these two, About App and Preferences. Preferences will be small or large depending on the complicatedness of the app you are using. And then of course the usual File Edit View help. Go takes you to certain folders in the operating system, including recents. You can also go to folder or connect a server. Useless information, but it's there. Window, usually you can bring all of the front, show previous tab, etc. Help, very simple. Type in help, help me, whatever. Get to know your Mac, blah, blah, blah. Right here, that's screen recording, so I won't touch that. This is Dropbox. You can tell that I've been working hard on building this. This is Wi-Fi. These are your kind of widgets, if you want to call them that. They give you information like the taskbar. This is Wi-Fi. All the Wi-Fi are devices I can connect to, like a printer. You can join other network, create a network, or open network preferences. This is a fast way to network preferences. Just click this little guy here, open network preferences. It'll pop open system preferences to network. And there you go. There's my IP. Advanced. We'll do this later, but just sort of a run through. Battery life, if it's mobile, time, date, user, and of course Spotlight. We'll come to Spotlight later, but that's basically search my Mac. Over here you have your notifications bar. God forbid you have to ever have to come in here. Looks like the Dow is up. Hey, I wonder if we could add it. No, we're not going to add Vonage. We probably should, but maybe another day. Alrighty. So, that is the basics of the title bar. It is at the top of every Mac, and there you go. Here's the desktop. This is El Capitan, which is a rock face in the Yosemite Valley in California, and it is the code name for macOS 10 version 10.11. This is where all your windows will be when you open up something. You'll be able to move them, drag them around, etc. If you shake the mouse really quickly in newer versions of OS 10, you will be able to, of course, enlarge the mouse. And down here is the dock. Excuse me. Oh, never mind. Excuse me a second. Sorry, I had to sneeze. You can cut that out now. Edit back in. Alrighty. This is the dock. The dock is basically your app launcher. All of your quick apps will be here. Any app that you open will pop up in here. If you don't pin it to the dock, it'll disappear from the dock when you close the app. You got Safari, Chrome, Firefox, our desktop app, Zoiper, Xlite, App Store, System Preferences, Feedback Assistant, because I'm running a beta, and QuickTime Player. And this is for a downloads folder, and the good old trash can. So, the dock, by default, is at the bottom, and it can't hide, but you can always right-click it, turn hiding on, turn magnification on. Position on screen magnification is fun because it'll do something like this. But for the purposes of this demo, we're going to turn that off. You can also turn hiding on, where it'll hide it, so that when you reach down to grab it. But for the purposes of this, we're going to turn it off because most users will have it down there. There's also, you can change the position to the left-hand side, which will put it over here. right hand side, which will go over here. And minimize, you don't really need to care about all this. And that's the dock. When you select an application, it'll bounce. When it's open, a black little dot will appear beneath it, telling you the application is open. And as you can see, it's a window. You can move it around. You can resize it. Just like on a Windows machine, you just move it to the edge of the corner. They both copy from each other. It's pretty much the same basic metaphor. And that is the basics of the UI. The Finder is always on the left of the dock. You cannot put anything on the other side of it, but you can rearrange based on where you want it. Maybe Firefox doesn't want to hang out with those guys. He's too cool for Chrome and Safari, so he's going to come over here and hang out with QuickTime, etc. In this way, you can create a, some people use this to create a flow. So all of your internet applications, phones, apps, updating, system prefs. It depends on the user. Some users don't care, some users do. Either way, you can customize this. Even though you can't customize the look and feel, you can customize at least where things are. This little separator bar here, it separates applications from the folder system. If you click this, it's called a quick action folder. You can click that and it'll open up the downloads folder. If there's anything in there, it would show right here in a fan. The trash can just opens the trash. And you can always empty the trash by going to, I think it's, where is it, Finder? Where's empty trash? There it is. Anyway, here you go. Here's the trash can. And alrighty. So, next, moving on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, in this next section, we're going to talk about the Finder. First of all, the Finder helps you find things. It has been around since the original Mac OS in 1984 and was one of the first filing systems that were visual brought to the masses. It was later popularized also in Microsoft's Windows, called the File Explorer or File Viewer. And to open the Finder, you can just you can do a new Finder window from here. You can do here, clicking here, or you can just do Command N, and it'll open up a brand new Finder window. As you can see here, there's a lot of stuff going on. For the purposes of the demo, I'm going to slightly enlarge it just to space everything out. First, every single operating system needs basic controls. And here are your windowing controls. X, red, means to close out. This means to minimize, and it'll minimize down here all my files. You can just click that, pops back up. You can also Alt-click, oh wait, what was it? Command-click, and it'll go slow. Dang it, what was that again? Control-click. Oh, that closes it out completely. Anyway, there used to be a neat little trick you could do where it would go down there. Maybe it's Shift. Yeah, Shift-click makes it go in there very slow so you can see the full animation. It's a neat little goof. It's a gimmick. Anyway, and this is full screen view, which will take the entire thing full screen, and using Command and the Control and the left arrow key, I can differentiate between screens as part of what is called Expose. And see here, we can select the Finder. And that's Control Up. It's called Spaces. Spaces is multiple desktops on a single screen. To get out of it, you just go to the very top and click the green button again. It'll come back. As you can see, it goes off to the right. Control left arrow, Control right arrow, Control up arrow, Control down arrow. And that's the basics of the window controls. And this is Moving on, this is backwards, and this is forwards, viewed previously, and folders you have viewed ahead. This is your control area. This tells you what folder you're currently in. And these first four is what we're going to go over. Show items such as icons in a list, in columns, or with cover flow. And that's what we're going to go over. This is your typical view based on icons with a little name under it. This is the default in Windows. Most people are familiar with this look. This is the oldest possible look of a filing system. But then they added list view, which is very simply a list that you can resize these categories. You can right click and add more, like date modified and size, and you can right click up here and you can just add all sorts of fun things to categorize your data. And of course, if you click on the criteria, the up arrow tells you how it is being filtered. And very simply put, that's the basics of that. Now there's a new view that Apple invented. It's not made its way to Windows, but it's called columns. And the reason why columns is fun is I'm going to take you into my Dropbox and we'll go into my Georgia State folder. I went to Georgia State and you can see all my school projects. Column view, you just move the left and right arrow keys to move up and down in the folders. And we can go into my syllabus here. But you see, left arrow goes up, right arrow goes down, down arrow goes down within the folder. Or you can even just do this, American history. And as you can see, this can be a very, very cool folder view. So, moving on. Alright, this is the home folder. Within the home folder is the user's applications folder, desktop folder, documents, the desktop app, downloads if there are any, Dropbox if they have it, movies, this is where I'm going to keep the screen recordings, music if you're into that, pictures if you are artsy fartsy, and a public folder for if you really need to make something public. Alright, cover flow, useless. If someone has it on, avoid it. I'm not a big fan. Right here is just basically you can create categories for applications. So if we went into, let's go into Dropbox because I have a lot of stuff in here. And then we were to put it on this view, and we'll go in here and we'll separate it by category. Let's do by name or kind. See, documents, PDF documents. You can use you can use the space bar to open it up, and in what's called Quick View, which allows you to view the full document without having to open up an application. Required text materials, timelining, junk for classes I took long ago. You can do it by date modified, today, or 2014. Date created. Tags if there are any. Size. You can do all sorts of crazy things in here. And this is just your sort. You can do none. This is the gearbox. This is where you can do things. This is, so if you highlight an item, you can do things with this. Like you can choose how to open it. Do you want to use the default, or do you want to open it with another application? You can even show the package contents, which is, just a crazy thing for Mac OS X. You can get info on this folder. These are your info boxes. It tells you the size. Its location in the filing system. Created, modified date. More info is usually, useless info. You can preview it. You can even change read-write permissions. and that's get info. You can also do it with Command and I, where you can lock applications and lock all that sort of thing. And that's the gear. You can arrange by, you can even show view options. Always open an icon view. You can arrange by blah blah blah, sort by name. You can change the icon size. We'll just go back down to 72 by 72. I think they do it 80 by 80. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. You can do grid spacing so that they're closer together or farther apart. You can change the text size. Maybe you're blind. You can change the label on the bottom or on the right. You can show the item info, icon preview. That'll just show generic application preview. And you can choose a color for your background. Let's say you want this to be orange. For Vonage. Or maybe you want to drag an image here. Or you just want to go back to defaults. Anyway, there you go. This is for share. So if you wanted to share this via mail, if you had Facebook plugged in, you could do it via Facebook or any other thing. But this is just how you can share applications. And you can choose more. And you can add in third-party stuff like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Tudo and Yoku and Tencent Weibo and Sina Weibo. And there you go. And these are tags, which generally I don't understand why people use them, but some people do. This is search. Very self-explanatory. Welcome. Search this mag for welcome. Over here on the left-hand side, you can hide, show, favorites. And these are just various different things you can drag here. Like, let's say I want to put this here. I can do it. Now I have a quick folder. I want to go to my desktop. This is Boot Camp. And here are all your Windows files. If you have a separate partition, it'll show, or an iPod or an iPhone, it'll show here as well. And these are all the tags. Nobody cares. And that's pretty much the Finder. You can right-click on these things and open a new tab. You can tab the Finder. It's pretty cool. Command-T for tab. Command-W to close. And that's the Finder. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. In this next section, we're going to go over Spotlight. We last went over the Finder. The Finder is how you take care of your filing system. You find what you're looking for. Spotlight is how to get there faster. Up here in the top right-hand corner, you'll see the famous magnifying glass. And there you go. You click it, it pops up. You can even do Command spacebar. Pop up right here, and you can just type something, it'll autocomplete. Just hit enter. And there you go. Let's say we want to look for Vonage. Oh, there's the Vonage Business Desktop. And it'll boot it up. A little beach ball pop up, because everyone loves a good beach ball. And as you can tell, Safari is being a pain in the butt. I did this intentionally so that we will solve it later. Alright, first things first. The Mac, the Spotlight is everywhere. It's in the Finder, right here. This is Spotlight. Great thing about Spotlight, it has a Boolean search, so you can do -xlight x. So now I can search for things that start with an X that aren't xlight. Or I can do 2 + 2 = 4. Or 2 × 2 + 4 + 4, or is divided by 6. There you go. And because it follows the rules of logic, it did 2 × 2, which is 4, and then added that to 4 divided by 6, which is 2/3. So 4 plus 2/3 is 4.66666 repeating. And as you can tell, you can do basic math in Spotlight, just in case you need to really do that. Alright, you're probably wondering what this is. This is System Preferences. It's mixed in with Spotlight because, quite frankly, the two of them aren't really going to be taking up a whole lot of your time, but are important enough to cover. Spotlight's even in here. So let's search for security and privacy. Notice how these kind of fade out. Well, we'll click here, security and privacy. Pretty much the same thing as the control panel. And as you can see, there are many different choices in here. There's always a lock. You just type in your user and your password, and it'll unlock it. You'll be here just in case you need to install the desktop app. It's not going to let you. You have to select anywhere here. We'll get to that in a little while. It'll prompt you all sorts of fun things. You can even change passwords. File Vault is full disk encryption. It makes booting up and logging in slow as molasses, but at the end of the day, NSA is not going to be hacking into your email. Then there's a firewall. You can fool around with it and set it up to allow incoming connections. As you can see here, I've got the Blizzard launcher and Skype and StarCraft and Zwiper and all that fun stuff. You can do all sorts of things in here. Privacy, basic stuff. You can do accessibility, diagnostics and usage. Whenever any privacy concerns pop up, it'll be here. You can even do advanced. So, that's security and privacy. When you download the desktop app, remember it might say this Mac does not allow applications from unregistered developers. What you'll do is you'll come down here to the System Preferences, or you'll open it from Spotlight. And then you go to here, Security and Privacy, unlock the lock, and click anywhere. It'll say, are you sure you want to do this? It makes you less secure. And then you say, I don't give a crap. You click Allow from anywhere. And there you go. You reinstall the desktop app. I'm going to go back up to that because I do care about security and privacy. Alright. This first row is user modifications. General is basic stuff like, do I want it to look like graphite or blue? And knowing, since everyone makes fun of Apple for having no choice, there you go. You get to have your joke. Or you can make the menu bar dark and mysterious. And you can automatically show and hide the menu bar. I call it the title bar. I guess they renamed it the menu bar. Either way, you can change your highlight color so that when you highlight text, it's green. But we'll just leave it red for here. And you can create large icons for the sidebar or medium. These are just basically how scroll bars, this is basic miscellaneous junk that no one really messes with. Except for me, because I want Firefox to be my VLC, are you kidding me? VLC, your default web browser. And these are just a bunch of settings. Desktop screensaver doesn't get more basic than that, but you can change your desktop. We could make it a lion or a frog. Hey, what's going on, guys? We could even make it the Vonage logo. But anyway, we'll choose that frog. I actually kind of like that frog. He's a happy frog. Screensaver. You can make it look goofy when you're away from your computer. Cool. That's a glitch. I'll have to report that later. Dock, this is just basically changing the dock size. How do you want to do magnification? We'll make the dock about normal, no magnification. You can change a bunch of things, blah, blah, blah. Mission control is, as I showed you earlier, spaces and all that. And you can have fun with all this kind of thing. Language or region, simple. Spotlight, you can choose what is in your search results. Notifications for when you get notifications. Next here is your peripherals, CDs, DVDs, displays, energy savings, trackpad, controls, etc. We won't be doing anything in here. Networking, you'll be here in network. Click the lock to make changes if you have to. You might not need to make any changes. Earlier we came here. Here's the IP address of the device. We're on Wi-Fi. It'll be green. You hit advanced. This will pop down. These are the Wi-Fis I can connect to. And as you can tell, I've been all over the world. TCP/IP parameters using DHCP. Here's my IP, subnet mask. Here's the gateway. So for all you guys who have to get to the gateway, there you go. If you want to do IPv6, and I could even renew my DHCP lease if I wanted to. DNS, WinS for Windows networking, 8021X for those profiles and network connections that require severe security, proxies for if you're just really needing one, and then of course the hardware itself. And you can configure the device manually for MTU, but you don't need to do that. So that is pretty much system preferences. This is all useless to you, as is this. These are just miscellaneous things to help you do the things that you want to do beyond non-Vonage things. These are count related. These are just add-ons, peripherals, stuff like that. And again, that lock icon, just in case you ever need to make a change, you just click it, have them put in their password, and it'll unlock. To relock it, just click it again. And that's system preferences. Real quick, let's just do a recap of what we've done here today. We went over the menu bar. We went over the Finder. We went over Spotlight. And we went over system preferences. If you need to watch any part of this video again, just scroll back and forwards. And we will have part 2 coming here soon. Just watch the next video. We'll be going over actually doing things in the OS other than the basic look and feel, including the installation of the Vonage desktop, Xlite, Zoiper, use of the network utility, terminal, the library folder, desktop, app, browser integrations, etc. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon.